So, uh,
All right.
yeah, the
You know, here we are competing with Skep Talk. I don't know, Joe. This is what do you think? We gonna get anybody? Anybody gonna be here, Joe? What the hell?
I don't know. They might, but just so they know, we are taking calls tonight. I will have a banner
We
with the number and
are.
stuff. I need to pin that message that I just put in there so
Uh-huh.
that.
Uh-huh. Do we want to have some? Do we want to throw some cutesy crap in the chat like we do on the line? We just hey Theus, call in and we'll take God apart for you. Does the Holy Spirit speak to you? Speak to us.
There we go.
Yeah, hooligan, you are here. I am sorry, but you are here. You may be ashamed to know that you're also on my channel. I'm very sorry.
You're here, and we are taking calls tonight, Justin. We've got everything up and working tonight. So, uh,
Believe it
think
or not, you
Steph
can
came in as a
actually
miracle
call
worker.
us. Yes, I had 5 fishes and 5 loaves, and out of this we got 5 telephone lines.
That's true.
And we have Robin Webster in the room waiting for your call.
Yeah.
You want to get some you want to talk some trash in the screening room? Call in because I don't know anybody who talks trash better than Robin. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
Robin.
is.
Robin is the best. She said, "Well, what do I say if it's somebody who calls and wants to say something stupid?" I said, "Tell them to fuck
Oh,
off."
you can't do that. That's not professional.
No, I said, tell them to try that next
Screening
time.
call screening calls. Jess is really good at it. She calls screens for the Transatlantic Calling Show. She's very very good at it, and
Yeah.
it's just like tech support. No, it's basically that's it. There are very few questions. Oh, hi. Thank you so much for calling the Kentucky Atheist. I'm your call screener. My name is Stephanie. My pronouns are she, her. May I have your name, please?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Oh,
Yeah.
and that's great. And where are you calling from? Are you a theist or an atheist? And what would you like to talk to Joe and Stephanie about tonight? That's it. But you get these yahoos that call in and you say, "Hello, can you hear me?" After you said, "Hi, thanks for calling the Kentucky Atheist. My name is Stephanie. My pronouns are she, her." Hello, can you hear me? Yes, yes. Can you hear me? Did you hear what I just said? Oh yes. Hello. And then you go, "Oh, may I have your name?" My name is Chris. Okay, Chris, that's great. Where are you calling from? I'm calling from New Jersey. Okay, that's great. And Chris, do you have pronouns that you prefer to be addressed by? Uh, you can't tell. Well, but to be honest, no. Do you have pronouns that you'd like to be addressed by? It's a simple question. Yes, no, maybe. Attack helicopter, perhaps. That we had one guy, Chuck, who called in, wanted to be his pronouns were attack helicopter, so I put him down as attack helicopter and forced to him a new one. It's great. Anyway, that's the life of a call screener, at least for the line. And let me tell you, the Sunday show yesterday was rough, 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 rough.
Yeah. What? Sorry.
Sorry, I've been
Um, I'm
rambling.
I'm I'm posting phone numbers all over the place, so somebody might call
Thank
us.
God. Oh, do we have a call? No, we don't have a call. You've got the screener thing
Yeah, I can
open.
see it too.
Remember, folks, make it worth Joe's while. Actually, it's my time tonight because I logged in on my call-in studio account. So, make it worth my while. Call on the fucking thing. Tell us more about why it was so rough. Well, we had this guy, Kevin, that called in, and he was one of these guys who, I'm sorry, I gotta mute, I think I'll just turn off Discord at the moment because I'm getting notifications from the line. All right, that's good. Yeah, it was, oh, God damn it. Doesn't matter. It's going to give me the fucking notifications anyway. But this guy Kevin called in, and Kevin has called many times. And he called in and immediately went off about you people, you atheists, you blah, 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 blah. Kevin, I'm the call screener. I have a few simple questions I need to ask. I want to get you on the show, but I have a few simple questions. So finally I said, Kevin, I'm going to hang up. When you calm down and are willing to answer a few simple, yes, Flat Earther Kevin, that's the dude. When you're ready to answer a few simple questions, I'll put you in the host queue. And it was like trying to feed the guy audio Valium. It's just calm the fuck down, buddy. You know, you were so anxious to have your head ripped off by Matt Dillahunty that you have to start out on the call screener. So anyway, yes, indeed, finally he did calm down. I hung up. He called back. He started out the same way. I said, Kevin, we're going to try this again. And he finally got this, okay, I want to get you on the show. Your name is Kevin. You are calling from, where the fuck Kevin is calling from. I think I got the notes here. I don't know. Whatever. And yeah, he calmed down. And then he, of course, Then he gets on the thing and he lost his goddamn marbles. And Matt totally lost his zen completely.
Not Matt.
Yeah, this was a tough one. It was a tough one.
Yeah, not Matt. Matt wouldn't do that. I bet you get a lot of people who call and are immediately pissed off before they even get to the
That
call.
was Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin was like that. The very first guy that called in. And he called in early. You know, and you get to the atheist. I'm an atheist. Okay? What would you like to talk to what would you like to talk to Aaron and Matt about? Well, I don't want to talk about religion. I want to talk about veganism. I want to talk about why both atheists both theists and atheists should not eat animals. I said, well, that's not the topic of the show. On Sundays, we don't go down that thing. And then he went off. I did. And I let him yell for a couple of minutes, and Morgan's going, please try to keep this call screening to under 2 minutes. I'm like, yeah, okay, but how am I going to do that? Fortunately, it's before the show, and it's like, I just want to talk about vegans. And it's like, well, we're not going to talk about vegans. We're not going to talk about vegans. No, listen to me. We are not going to talk about vegans. Goodbye. Click. He called back immediately. Click. And tie him out for a day. You're not calling back again. Then he jumps in the side chat and starts bitching in the side chat. Oh, I called in, but they wouldn't take my call. So, well, now they won't be reading your chats anymore today either. It's crazy.
Those,
crazy.
Just from my interaction though, like there's a part of the vegan community that is just like not very friendly.
Well, yeah, I find that I have friends who are vegan and they're perfectly pleasant. They just like, that's what you had. Well, if you have them over for dinner or something, it's like,
maybe I should say vegans on YouTube.
Yeah.
That are just like not very nice people. I mean, very limited on anything I even have seen about that, because I'm sure the things I have seen are the worst of it, not the normal. But
well, the people who are really militant are really kind of an unusual breed, I think. And what I always think is very weird, coming from a Methodist background. I learned, I don't know whether this was out of Methodism or out of just my own thought. I learned that the reason you say grace is because you're paying honor to the life that is going into you to help your life continue. In other words, it's like a recognition that all life depends on dying things. It doesn't matter. Right.
Right.
Even if it's a tree, the nutrients are coming out of compost, which is dying things, and they're turning into something else. It's a whole thing, and you don't need a God for that, but it's a nice concept, and it's an actually true concept about nature. And it's built into religion. It is built into religion, but it's so coded that people don't really quite get it.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of those things when you really start looking at what it means, and when you start digging past the surface, that are incredibly just strange things. It's like, why would anybody actually do that? But most Christians have no idea what the hell, they practice the religion that's comfortable to them, like they've defined God into existence how they want it, and they take it from there,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I think that's
I think we've had this conversation before. I like the stories. I think the stories are really cool, but you can't take them literally, and you can't take them, even if you take them metaphorically, to the point that you've somehow made this abstraction into a literal reality for yourself, like an actual God, in the Christian faith especially, your own personal Jesus. You need to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. That's like he's your buddy, shake his hand. Or if you're the ultimated Judeo-Christian, which, by the way, if you're out there, UJC, call in. We'd love to talk to you. Because I'd really like more details about the sexy times with God.
Well, Barnaby Wild sent us $2 super chat and said, "Hello, Stephanie, educated by the best. Thank you."
By the beat.
And we got Ember's been a member for 4 months. Says, "Let's go sailing." Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you really want to, Ember? I mean, you could wind up like me. You could wind up. That's the beginning. That wasn't too bad, but it was the holy shit. We're going to accidentally jibe, and then we accidentally jibed. And overboard!
Barnaby Wild, another $2 super chat. I thought Grace had something to do with Grace Kelly. And Robin has been a member for 9 months. She wants somebody to call and talk to her.
Nice. Well, you know what? Pretty soon, you're going to be coming out of wherever you've been for those 9 months, and you can join the human race. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've demonetized you already. Sailing's fun. Sailing's fun. Sailing's a lot of fun.
Amber says, I'm former Navy staff. I was a bit peeved. I never got to sail with actual sails.
Well, that's because you didn't go to Annapolis, right? You weren't a midshipman. And if you go to Annapolis, you get to race. You get to race. They have the 40-footers that they race. I don't know what they are now. They used to be these old hulking IOR boats that really suck. There's some good sailors out of the Navy. You know what? I was sailing at the Swan Atlantic Regatta in Newport. We had a Swan 51. The Navy team had a Swan 51, and we had this our skipper had made a bet with the Navy that if we beat the Navy, that they'd give us their uniforms. We'd swap uniform. Well, they'd give us their uniforms. So I have somewhere in this place, I've got a Navy sailing T-shirt, says Navy on it.
Barnaby Wild gifted 5 memberships. They went out to Speedy Romans, Paraspera Ad Astra, Mage Grey Wolf, Sydney Raptor, and Aaron Reese. All got memberships. Nice.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. Well,
somebody in the chat says they're calling.
Yeah, I like it. There that somebody is.
There they are. Let's get this.
You gotta wait for the call screener to screen the call.
Yeah.
Okay, it's in the screening room. Robin, if you click on the thing, you can leave little notes for us, like, this person is just the most wonderful person on earth, or this person's real asshole. But we don't do that. Sometimes the screener will add an additional note. For example, I did not write attack helicopter for Chuck's pronouns, but a Margan did.
Yeah.
Good. So, yeah.
That was the stupidest thing ever. I'm glad that he was made to look stupid too for it.
Well, it's the best line ever. Forrest Valkai. Well, John Gleason is. Yeah. We can talk about secondary phenotypes, external phenotypes. Yeah, we can get to that. But you do realize that's kind of a dick move to say shit like that, and yeah, but we can move on to that. And then Forrest goes, "Well, I'm not gonna." And reams his ass out for half an hour. It was awesome. Yeah. Loved it. Just loved it.
Well, I think that a lot of people watch that show, and I'm sure there were other people that do things like that seen that and was like, oh, well, maybe that's not the best idea.
Yeah, well, Chuck never did that again.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, one person which is
nobody's gonna say, do you have, the question is, do you have preferred pronouns? How do you like to be addressed? They can say, I don't care, any, all, they, them, none. None is always kind of a pain in the ass because none doesn't really work in English. Gee, where's none going? I don't know. None left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I suppose nuns. I suppose that works. You know, you could do that. One of the things that always struck me as a little bit weird because I'm a very binary. My gender is extremely binary and has been for my entire fucking life. Which I could never. I had a hard time coming around to figuring out that the non-binary thing, and that was kind of weird. We have Tony. Tony, Florida. He Christian. Tony, would you like to come and speak with us? You want to click him in the room in there, Joe? You want to take your do that? You click host room live.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, am I in?
You are in.
Hello,
Tony.
how you doing?
Tony.
How you
Is
guys
this
doing?
Tony? Is this Tony?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, say
How you
Tony.
guys- Tony.
Oh, good. Welcome, Tony.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to, I do have a lot of gay friends. Here in South Florida, I have a friend of mine who actually owns 2 gay bars, and I am in the event industry, and I'm going to be doing one of his events when he opens up the new establishment. Just want to let you guys know that.
You're not in Key West, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm actually in Miami. I'm in Dade County. Key West is actually Monroe County.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And you think you're all the way south when you get to Miami, but you know what? You got another 180 miles to go to get to Key West.
Yes, you have. Yes, you do. Yeah, you do have. Yeah, it's all the way down here. I've only been to believe it or not, I've been living here since 1970. I've been only to Key West twice in my life. Believe it or not.
Believe it.
You know what I mean?
I believe it. If I lived in Miami, I would definitely go to Key West at least twice a summer because it's such an unusual place. It's just
it definitely is. Yeah, it definitely is. So is Miami though.
Oh yeah. Miami's fun. There's a Coconut Grove. It's very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it's definitely
Last time I was in Miami was at the Shake a Leg Sailing Center down in Coconut Grove, right by the Shake a Leg. Yeah, there's a large bar right on the water. What the hell's the name of it?
Money Trainers.
Yeah, there we go. Yep.
All right, yeah, I've been to Money Trainers. Of course, I've been to Money plenty of times. Been there for years.
Oh, bet. Yeah. Great crab.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great. Yeah. They have great seafood there. Joe's is good too. So is Prime Fish. I like going out to different restaurants and stuff like with my wife and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah. I was the J24 Worlds in boats just like that. J24 Worlds, Miami, 2019.
Okay. I was looking at the chat here. How does he get this coming to respond to civil rights violation? That's an interesting question. No, but I wanted to ask you guys because since you guys, I just want to ask this: do you guys know that there's no God, or you just believe that there's no God? That's the question I wanted to ask.
Go. You want to go? Go.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I can still. Can you hear me, Tony?
Can you hear you?
Did we lose Tony?
Yeah, I could hear you now.
Oh, okay. So, I believe that there is no God. It's something that it's an unfalsifiable position to begin with. So I wouldn't pretend to be able to falsify it. But I don't believe that it's true. I think that all the claims made that a God exists in various religions are unconvincing.
Right. So you think so you consider yourself an individual that believes that there's not enough evidence for an existence for a creator of the universe. Is that pretty much what you're saying?
I don't even think there's no evidence. I think there's not even a good reason to go down that road and suggest such a thing. That hypothesis serves no purpose.
So you do believe in evolution then?
I accept evolution, yes.
You believe that we actually came from primates? Is that what you're saying?
We have a common ancestor with great apes, if that's what you're asking.
we are primates. We are in fact great apes. We're kind of super duper naked great apes. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. If you see me, you're gonna say you're gonna believe. You're gonna consider me the missing link because I'm one ugly Cuban. No, but anyway.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
But I will tell you this though. You know that there is no transitional life forms in the fossil record. You know that, right?
That's false.
You know, in the fossil record, there is microevolution. I beg your pardon?
They're all transitional life forms.
Hello? There is microevolution. There's evolution within the species, but not from one species to the next. If there was a transitional life forms in the fossil record, it would not be a theory anymore. It would be considered a law or a fact.
No, that's not the way theories work. That's not really the way theories work. No.
Theories are descriptive. They're not. So the theory tells you how evolution works. The fact that evolution occurs is a fact. The theory is about how it works.
Micro.
So the theory tells you how evolution works. The fact that evolution occurs is a fact.
Okay, so I'm curious. Have any?
So the theory tells you how evolution works. The fact that evolution occurs
that
is
shows
a fact.
us a transitional life form from one species to the next. I'm just,
I'm sorry. I had some feedback.
First of all, here's the thing. Yeah, sorry. I was firing up the browser so that I could get to your chat, Joe. The thing is, I'm not a biologist. I'm a sailor. I'm a sailor and a sailmaker. That's what I do for a living. I have I have a fair amount of just sort of knowledge picked up here, but I'm not Eric. I'm not Gutsick Gibbon. I'm not Forrest Valkai. That's not the thing. Getting down to, if you want to just get specific about what is a theory is a system of thought that has explanatory power, right?
Right.
So it's science doesn't deal in absolute facts. It deals in probabilities. Like you get to a certain point that there's a 99.99% chance that this works this way. And if you do it over and over and over again, you find out that sure enough, it works this way. It's like quantum mechanics. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about a sigma value. This is if we do this experiment, we're going to get this result over and over and over and over and over again. And if it comes up, if for some reason on your 20-faced die, you come up with 21, well, that falsifies that you don't have a 20-faced die anymore. Somehow something else got into the mix. Science doesn't deal in absolutes. It deals in predictions and probabilities. And that's the nature of a theory.
Just to
I'm gonna leave. I don't want to. Okay. But okay, now I got a question for you. What do you think about this situation, this scenario I'm going to bring up to you right now? We have a universe here. We don't know everything about the universe, because if we would know everything about the universe, that we will consider ourselves a god, right? Because we will be omniscient. All right. Omniscient, right? Because we could never say we know everything in the universe, because the moment we do that, we'll be giving us yeah, right, absolutely. Now, this is what we do know, though, that there is a universe, right? There's only 4 reasons as to why there's a universe here. It's always been here, right? It created itself, it's an illusion, or it had a creator. Any way that you think about how this universe could be here now, as opposed to nothing, falls within one of those categories. It's always been here, it created itself, it's an illusion, correct? Or it has a creator. Would you agree with me with that situation, that dilemma?
Yeah, I think that covers.
Well, I wouldn't, because I don't know how there could be nothing. I honestly don't know. I don't know how there ever could be nothing.
No, but I'm saying, can you think of another explanation, a fifth one, besides those four?
Right. I don't think one of them is an explanation, but yeah, I think
No, no,
that.
no, 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 no. A reason, a reason. I mean,
All right,
but maybe I use.
all right.
Sorry, I used
We'll grant you that. Go ahead. What's next?
Okay, because in every way that you think of how as to why there's a universe here, it's going to fall within one of those explanations. Think about it. After we end this show or this time that I have you with you guys, I want you guys to think about that, about those four explanations, and you're going to see that any explanation you come up with is going to fall within one of those four categories. But if we deal with each category here right now, real quickly, you're going to see that three of them are logical impossibilities. Let's deal with the first one. The universe has always been here. We cannot say the universe has always been here because that means that we would have to go back into eternity backwards. We would have an infinite regress, which is a logical impossibility.
Whoa.
Right?
That's not an infinite regress. That's not an infinite regress.
Yes, it is. No, wait a second.
What's an infinite regress?
I'm going to tell you how it's an infinite regress, because if we say that it's always been here, how would we ever reach to now, Your Highness? We will never reach to now if we have infinity backwards. Logically, infinity forward has no problem, but infinity backwards has a very serious logical problem. It's called an infinite regress, no matter how you look at it. Whether the universe expands and contracts forever, we would have never reached now.
Hold on. Let's do these one at a time, Tony. Let's do them one at a time, okay?
Right.
So I would actually hold the position that I think that at least the stuff that makes up the universe is probably eternal. I would go with that. And that's not, there's different kinds of infinite. You can have a countable infinite and an uncountable infinite, right? And this saying that the matter always existed doesn't really cause an infinite regress, because when space expanded, hold on.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but you have a problem with the second law of thermodynamics.
Whoa. The second law of thermodynamics is what, Tony?
Yeah.
What is the second law?
It's the second law of thermodynamics is that the universe is winding down. It's dying.
No,
we're going to have a heat law.
No, that's not the second law.
Get on yourself. You'll see that the universe is dying.
It's not.
The
second law, Tony, I'm going to talk now, okay? The second law of thermodynamics is that entropy increases.
Right.
That's the second law.
It's dying. It's dying.
That's not dying. That's a change. No, it's Tony. It's a change of Tony. I could finish. It's a change.
Okay, I'm there.
Tony.
I would love to have you on my show.
Tony, I'm going to mute you. It is a change of state. It is not dying. You could say that death is a change of state as well, but I don't see where that gets you to God. And the first law of thermodynamics is that matter and energy is conserved, can neither be created or destroyed. So even if you're talking about a state of the universe that has no beginning, has no end, it still doesn't get you to God. And it's not a logical impossibility at all. Could very well be true. I'm going to unmute you. I think I am anyway.
No,
where the hell did he go?
Wait, he's back in the...
No, he's back in the screening room. We'll put him back in the host room. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, there we go. I'm sorry, Tony. I clicked the wrong button.
You guys, I would love to have you guys on my show today, man. On my show one of these days, man. For real. I have what's called Theological Thursdays. I would love to have you one of you guys on my show today. You guys, I think, will find it very interesting.
Well, thank you.
For real. I wouldn't mind coming back.
We're finding you very interesting because you know the best bars in Miami. That's the thing that I like about you, Tony. It's like next time in Miami.
My channel, we also have a section in my channel with a whole bunch of parts of Miami. It's a lot of drama there also, too.
There you
go.
But
I found open to you guys, by coincidence here, and I think you guys are great. I was watching your show for a little bit and stuff like that, and I think you guys are great, and I want to thank you people for giving me the time and the respect, bro. And that's totally awesome how we could actually agree to disagree agreeably, man. And that's one of the problems that we have in this world. A lot of people just don't like to disagree agreeably, man. You know what I mean? And be good sports about it. You know what I mean? But I just want to let you people know that I was an atheist at one time. I really, really was, man. And I find myself in a situation, and faith, helped me out a lot, bro. And I've seen a lot of paranormal stuff in my life because I was remember I'm here from South Florida, and I'm Cuban, and my family were involved in Santeria with the paranormal and stuff like that. So I do believe that there are disembodied entities and stuff like that. A lot of questions that I do believe need to be answered in that regard. Hey, but I love you guys, man. You guys are great. Thank you for your time, man. I really do. I'll be back. I'll be back again. I remember you guys' show. Cool. Take care, you guys.
Thanks, Tony. Right. Thanks for calling.
All right.
All right.
How about that? We actually took a call. How about that? That's amazing. Anybody else want to call in? Come on.
Yeah, we've got another one, don't we? It's not going. There's one in the queue that doesn't have any info on it. Oh, that's Tony's number. I see what it did.
Yeah, that's terminated calls right there.
Okay.
Yep, there we go. And there he is again.
Yeah.
Down there. I think he called in twice or something. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, just to comment a little bit on what he said, though, while we're waiting to see if anybody else calls in. I don't know how he's going to sit and talk about the laws of thermodynamics and stuff as it applies to that, and then turn around and say that somehow a God created everything against the laws of thermodynamics. I mean, if that's what he's wanting to use as the basis of his argument, he can't turn around and then deny it for his argument. I mean, that doesn't work. And maybe I misunderstood because we didn't get into it far enough. But Tony. My information's all on my channel. My email's theKentuckyAtheist@gmail.com. You can shoot me an email. Steph has all her info. You can look her up. I don't know anything other than her channel name. So, but yeah, interesting call though. I always enjoy conversations that go from evolution immediately to cosmology.
Yeah, well, it's funny how so many theists will jump right to science to prove God, but there's no real pathway there.
Yeah,
and there's this dichotomy between how do you get to the Christian God through science? I don't understand that. The tripartite yet unitary entity that exists outside of space and time, that created the laws that govern the universe, so that now you can talk about the first, second, third law of thermodynamics. But of course, they don't do that in the Bible because they had no fucking idea what they were. I mean, Boltzmann didn't do the entropy thing until the latter half of the 19th century. So there's so many of these things. It's like, oh, well, I can prove God through quantum mechanics. Well, how the fuck did the people in the Bible prove God? They didn't use quantum mechanics to prove God. They just said, Harry Thunderer come down, made mud model, human, breathed breath into mud model. All of a sudden, it's Adam, the mud, the earth. It's properly, it's a pun. In Hebrew, it's a pun because the way Semitic language. I did study not Hebrew but Arabic in college, and the Semitic languages are made up of tripartite roots. Usually, there are some quadripartite roots. 4 letters instead of like the name of God. It's a pun. It's properly earthling. That's why when Dr. Kip Davis is talking about stuff, he'll talk about the man,
Yeah.
the earthling, and the understanding in the Hebrew scriptures was all about the spirit. It's translated into, well, spiritus,
Yeah.
breath. It's why life begins at breath. It's why there was a challenge brought to the Florida abortion statute by some Jewish folk that said this is against our religion. To forbid abortion, because a fetus is not a live there. What we got going on here? Are we back?
Okay. Yeah.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we back? Yeah. Okay. Are we back? Did you click something, Joe?
How did? That should have fixed it. They got sent into the host room instead of
right.
Let's do it this way. There we go. Can you hear us? Oh no.
They're in the host queue. We gotta go. You click host room live. Host room live.
Yeah, but that was okay. You're gonna get that echo. Echo again. They need to go to the host queue, not the host room.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't have that option.
Where are they? Oh, Paradise. No, I got it. I got it here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just on as a screener, so I may not be able. No,
that's not doing it. I wonder why that is. Congress return uses screening room.
Yeah. When I mute the call, it's because it feeds back through over and over. Yeah.
So, Robin can't hear us. Robin's not listening to the show.
I think Robin's in the chat too, so she may be able to hear us. Robin, I don't know if you. Well, she has no way to get back to. It says that's a screener though. That was Robin.
Host queue.
No.
Yep. Host queue.
I'll let you do it. Go ahead.
Now we go. Okay, how we doing?
Doing fine. Am I on?
Paradise. Your mic is clipping a little bit. If you could back away from it a little bit, that would be really helpful.
Okay, how about now?
Much better. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, I don't know if I queued the information. Did y'all read the what I was hoping to call in about?
You're saying civil rights. Hopefully, sharing what I've learned.
Yeah. Do y'all have anything to share? To hopefully, y'all have any experiences to go first?
I have a lot. Or at least I don't. At least I'm civil rights adjacent, shall we say? And my sister's generation was my brother-in-law was actually on the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
Okay. That was like the Bernie Sanders chain to people kind of dig.
This was more like John Lewis.
Oh, okay, yes, but that's almost in the same era.
No.
It's not? I'm so sorry.
No, this is like 1960. When was that? 64? 1964, I think.
Oh, I'm pretty sure John Lewis. I believe he was like a. Correct me
Anyway,
if I'm wrong,
never mind. What's your question? I was like wondering where you're going with this.
Okay. So yeah, I just been through a bunch of really bad experiences here in this small town, and I've had police broken into my home. I've had cops arrested me at courthouses, and I've learned a little bit about how to push the system. You don't do it in your local municipal court. You do it at the federal level, and you can even do it as a poor person.
I'm gonna leave this one to Joe completely.
Wow.
Was that too much?
No, I mean that. I mean I agree with you. I guess to some extent. I don't know. I guess that depends on the situation, right?
Yeah. Well, I've dealt with policemen who will use their authority to like bust into your door and then say that, oh, your door opened because I knocked and it just magically opened, even though he's on video camera after having a FOIA request submitted and reviewing the body cam footage showing that he opened the door with his left hand on the doorknob. You know what I mean?
So I'll tell you what they do here. What they do here is you open the door and they stick their foot in the door, and then if you touch their foot with the door, they say you assaulted them, and then they beat the shit out of you.
Holy!
That's how they do it here.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Paradise,
So-
can you be just? Are you on speakerphone or something, or are you using a regular phone? No, you're calling from your computer, eh?
I'm using the call-in studio. I'm not sure how to.
You dialed in with the number, right?
No.
Okay.
I tried to earlier.
Okay.
Just back up.
So let me make sure.
Just if you back off on your mic a little bit, because you're really clipping, and my ears are starting to bleed.
I'm so sorry. Here, you know,
Not your fault.
listen, I want to say a huge props to Kentucky Atheist. My man, you introduced me to the ability to use StreamYard. So first and foremost, I'm going to be a fan for a long time just for you, like being available and teaching people inadvertently. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you. I hope you learn from my mistakes.
I really do. I mean, and I really appreciate that because I didn't know that StreamYard was a thing, and I got on there and I recorded a video and I put some things together, and then I posted it to my channel, and somebody reached out. It's kind of like a big YouTuber, and they like, hey, listen, I'm gonna do a story on your situation. And, you know, it just kind of trickled down from watching your show.
Well, that's not the message I usually intend to pass on, but I'm glad that you got something from it. And I'm always happy to hear people that want to go out and make their own content and use their own voice to speak up about things. So I'm really happy to hear that, and I appreciate your kind words.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. I hope you keep keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, I hope that everything you guys got going on. I've seen Stephanie on a few other shows, and I really like her. She has I'm sorry?
I get around.
Yeah. And I think you have
I'm an
really calm,
attention whore. What are you talking about? I just Ask J Mike, he'll tell you. You know, who's this bitch? Get her
J Mike, yep. Oh my goodness. All right, so you know, I don't really know. I guess I'm still kind of pretty awkward at this call-in show stuff. I just kind of felt happy to be able to, because I had a really bad day at court today. The judge shot my motion down, and I'm being pursued on criminal charges for absolutely fallacious reasons. But yeah, you know, you guys cheered me up. I really appreciate you taking my call.
Oh no, I'm glad you called.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna let you guys get on and continue your show. I'm gonna keep watching, and yeah, I really appreciate it.
Well, send me a link to your channel so I can go check it out.
Yes, sir, I will do. All right,
Thanks for
later,
calling.
Kentucky Atheists, and Stephanie, we will see y'all later.
you
Bye.
down. Thank you. Thanks.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, there we
I wasn't
go.
sure where we were going at first there.
Oh, neither.
Which is okay, but you know. Yeah, I'm always glad to hear that people, even if what you take away from this is, hey, that guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing and he's making videos, so I can too. That's perfect. I'm glad more people need to speak up and talk about the things that matter to them. But oh, is it? I thought maybe that was Barnaby calling. I seen the Shelbyville thing. I was trying to. I mean, I wasn't trying to get out of the call quickly because I thought we were going to get into the first caller there. Some of the other stuff that he dropped at the end there about paranormal stuff and all that. I was like, that's where you should have started. But you know, whatever. I get it. But it's uh-oh. What happened?
Oh. I'm typing my.
I've still got the it kicked me out of the screener stuff. But
No.
that's okay.
We still got Robin in there. I know that Robin's in there. Thanks.
Let's see. Why did it do that?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I think I might be the one that's in here messing up stuff. But when Paradise called in, I had no box that said host queue. You know what I mean? There was nothing there that said host queue for me to put them through. I don't know what. I didn't understand what was going on. But anyway,
Calling Studios is kind of wonky, and
yeah. And Pinworm did call me, or Barnaby or whatever, and he didn't want to leave.
Usually, you know, you're not going to lose anything if you just refresh the window. You're not going to lose anything. And you can also close down Calling Studio completely and restart it. That works too. You won't lose anything. The people will still be there. As long as the host, by the way, you better get busy because there's somebody down there. It's like initializing calls.
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
Okay.
Yeah, I had
my
to,
Never mind. You don't need to go down there anymore.
Okay. All right. Well,
I had to connect back to it.
I'll get out of here. But Pinworm did call in. He didn't want to leave. He didn't want to have you charged for it for him to stay on hold.
Oh, well, if you want to call back in,
it's 3 cents a minute, and it's on. It's my dime, for crying out loud.
It's on Stephanie. Call in all you want. Everybody call in. Shit.
Everybody call in. Fill up the lines. We want all 5 lines filled. Let's go. We want to have Robin's going to have to put the numbers down and everything like that.
And I believe you created yourself too. That's a new one.
You do?
Yeah. Well,
I'm quite sure. Well, depends on your point of view.
did I create everyone else too?
I mean, we sort of all do in some kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Depending on what you mean by yourself, I guess, whether you're talking
I
physically or
I had a friend, Mike Foster, who we were just sitting out back of 10 Exchange Street, just sort of in the summertime in Maine, sitting there. He had a 13-year-old. His son was 13 at the time, and Mike was a carpenter, and we worked together on a project rehabilitating a synagogue, believe it or not, for use, repurposing this building for use as office space for an anti-poverty agency in Portland called the People's Regional Opportunity Program. So anyway, Mike and I are sitting there, and his son Brent comes down and giving his old man some crap, as 13-year-old kids do. And Mike looks up at him and says, "Brent, I'm a self-made man." And his kid looked at him and said, "You should have hired a professional." Smart kid.
Nice.
I know we have no callers. Why don't we have any callers? Jay might call in, for crying out loud. Maya, call in.
My go-to is whenever someone says "I think" followed by something silly, I say, "Well, you shouldn't be thinking when you're not equipped to do the job."
How many people in the chat would like to see Jay Mike call in? Barnaby Wild, I am telling you right now, Joe's not paying a dime for this stream here. Nothing. I am. So I invite you, spend my money that I don't have. But go ahead and spend it, because I'm doing it anyway. We're going to leave, the lines are going to be there, so call in. Bye, Beck. Beck, would you like to call in? That would be fun.
Yeah, let's.
See, Robin wants to talk to Jay Mike. Hey, come on, people. But we can just keep rolling here.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's cool. At least we got a couple calls to work so far, and they went through and everything worked nicely. Good job, Steph. You're the miracle worker of the day. So,
well, like I said, five loaves, 5 fishes, 5 lines. Wait a minute, that's 10. 5 lines.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see Jay Mike call in. That'd be fun. But
that's like seeing anybody call in, for crying out loud.
Yeah, anybody call in, sure. The this has been a lot of fun, because just seeing it work has been great.
You're dragging into town with a dark sky above you, dialing the number that's bound to love you. 'Cause honey, you turn me on. I'm a radio. I'm a one-night station. I'm a little bit corny. I'm a wildflower waving for you. Broadcasting tower waiting for you. And I'm sending you out this signal here. Hope you can peck it out loud and clear. 'Cause honey, who needs the static? It hurts the head, and you wind up crackling, and your day goes dismal. Let's forget that shit. Nobody wants to hear me sing. You better call in or I'll keep singing.
Threaten us with singing. I like to get people on and have them sing. So we had people give super chats to get Dave from Captive Desk to sing one day, but we also got to pick the song.
Well, you could probably get people to give super chats to have me shut the fuck up.
What was it? What was it? He had to sing something from Dirty Dancing, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
I think it was the Time of My Life song he had to sing. I'm pretty sure that was it. It was something from Dirty Dancing, but it was funnier than hell. It was just came up that way, I guess. But yeah, so I don't know, not really a lot to address with the first guy anymore, though, I don't guess. I hate that it's always like, answer this thing about this one thing, and here's this question about evolution. Oh, okay, you gave me a perfectly good answer about that. And also, just to your comment that we don't see macroevolution occur, we have observed it in the lab and in the field both. It's how your antibiotics are researched and developed, actually. So so that's not true. But then it was like, okay, you gave an answer to that, and it's a satisfactory answer. And rather than saying, oh, maybe I need to look at that, or oh, you're right, it's well, can you tell me this about, did everything always exist? Because they immediately advert back to the time when it's we don't actually know, but it seems to be that it probably obeyed the same laws, and that I don't know, but it's always frustrating to hear, okay, now we're going to switch to cosmology, and next we're going to go talk about the water cycle, and then I need to know if you know everything about Elvis, and it's like,
and then we're going to talk about the Kalam.
Yeah.
we're gonna do the Kalam cosmological argument, which is kind of funny because Kalam means argument.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's the argument, cosmological argument. We'll have an argument. It sounds great.
The Kalam. I remember the first time I heard that during the Hitchens William Lane Craig debate, and I was like, "What? Wait." Yeah. It stumped me at first because I was like, "Now what's?" I mean, I wasn't buying it, and I don't think that he made any, saying that. Here's the thing with logic and just using logic. Just because it's logically valid doesn't necessarily mean it's the case. But
doesn't mean it's true.
Right, yeah. And I'd never understand, like, okay, fine, you've told me that makes sense. Now show me why you think it's real. And of course, there's stupid arguments that come with that too, but that's the whole philosophy thing that I get upset about. Because it's like, okay, like, quit trying to impress me with your second grade philosophy skills, and just tell me why you think it's true. Like, quit with all the trying to use big words and trying to like talk over people and shit, like talk down to them about stuff. Quit doing that. Just explain to me in simple terms why you think this is true. It doesn't have to be proof, just why you think it's true.
Right.
Like, they don't understand that, though. They always want to come with their arguments instead of actually talking about, why they think it. And
the fun thing is, it's kind of the never-ending conversation. People have been arguing about religion since there have been people, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
There are all these debates that go back and forth, and especially when people were widely settled and they had different gods. It's my God's the best God. No, your God's the beloved. Let's let the gods fight them, duke it out. Let's have Elijah over here and the priest of Baal over here and see which altar goes up in smoke first. Is it going to be an aroma pleasing to Baal or one pleasing to Yahweh? You never know.
Yeah.
But it just goes on and on and on. And really, what does it mean? Post-Christian God is true. Which particular Christian God are we talking about? What is the Christian God?
Yeah, please.
Because I can tell you that the God of the United Methodist Church in certain regions of the country isn't the same God as the God of the United Methodist Church in other parts of the country. Because,
now see, I would say the God of one person in that United Methodist Church is not the same as another person in that United Methodist Church.
That's the other problem. Which is a kind of a good argument for the fact that gods come out of our imagination rather than that gods are, some sort of other kind of weird thing.
Yeah. You're left with, and the problem with referring to the Bible. So whenever you refer to the Bible, and we were talking about this earlier, is the stories and don't take it literally. And you and I both have met people who take every word of the Bible. Well, they claim to take every word of the Bible literally. And so as an atheist looking at the Bible, I mean, other than the parts that it's like, like Jesus's parables, I get those are metaphor, like I understand. But, I have no choice but to read it literally because I don't believe any of it's true. I can go through and like apply a view and say, well, if it's a metaphor for this, that's fine. But then that leaves me with another question, and that is, how do we decide which parts are metaphor and which parts aren't? Who decides that? How and why? And I think that's that's what that leaves me. If I have to go through and decide parts of it are metaphor, if I have to make that decision, then I want to know why I'm left to make that decision. Why a God that could have done it any other way did it that way, So it seems not.
I just realized that I could turn Discord notifications off easily, and I just did. So sorry, everybody. You've been getting that.
We know how busy Steph is on Discord now.
Well, that's the line. It's the line.
Oh, yeah.
Talking. When they're thinking, I forgot to turn it off. For fuck's sake, I thought I turned it off.
And one of the things, like when I was a kid growing up in church, like the preacher man was always like put on a pedestal and like he was an authority figure within the community and knew things that you didn't know or I guess. And then getting a little older, I'm like, well, he's got that one book. I've got that book. Like, like he doesn't know anything really. He's just pretending to know things about what happens to us when we die that he doesn't know. And those things combined leave a that's why I say, like, not only do I not see any evidence, but I don't see any reason at all to think any of that's true. Like, I can't find a decent reason, like, at all. I mean, and if you want to argue, like, so you don't go to hell, I mean, it doesn't seem like the Bible supports that idea, So I don't think that would apply anyway, like, and I can't make myself be convinced something exists that I'm not convinced that it exists, there's no, that's why whenever I have like questions with theists and stuff, and they can't even fathom that there's a person that doesn't believe the same thing they do. They think you're like wanting to sin, or you just want to be that way because you don't want to look at it and you're unwilling. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Even if I'm willing, that doesn't mean that I'm going to believe it. Like, I can't force myself to
Well,
believe something.
you know, and that oh well, you just want to sin thing is really kind of weird because isn't part of the whole isn't that part of the whole drill? Like you're gonna sin. I mean, we're all sinners, and you can only be saved by the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ. And it's like you're sinning anyway. So why the hell you don't need to be an atheist and want to sin? Because you're a perfectly good Christian and sin. You just you're
No, hell, you're guilty of other people's sins.
saved. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to me. It's like it doesn't seem consistent. You just want to sin. No more so than anyone. I mean, one can. It depends on what you mean by sin, I guess.
Maybe
do shitty things. Do shitty things. Oh shit! Atheists can do terribly shitty things, but then
agree.
you got all those. Then you got all those German soldiers with "Gott mit uns" on their little belt buckles there, saying it's like, well, there's pretty terrible things going down with that. I wouldn't call them noble in any particular way.
Some pastors
or
go
Christ-like. I mean,
some don't.
So I don't know. I'm sure
And
matter of fact, I am sure I don't buy that crap. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, right. The most of the pastors and churches around here don't go to seminary at all. They're just it's just like a community position that they're appointed to, I guess. I don't know. Some of them do, and some churches will appoint somebody and then send them to school. But but I mean that doesn't. I mean, still, that's just you're going to another guy who has used the Bible for the source of all of his beliefs, and again, he's trying to tell you things about the afterlife that he doesn't know. It's the same.
Dr. Kent Hovind got his degree out of a double wide, so
yeah.
Sure.
But
okay.
Well, I say we give it a few more minutes here, and then we go ahead and cut the lines, and then if we want to wrap up or whatever, so we can quit charging Stephanie money.
Yeah, well, I can't see this is session length 91 minutes 49 seconds, but that doesn't you don't get dinged unless there's somebody on the line.
Yeah.
There's that.
Right.
Yeah, so there's that thing. But I don't mind. Call in. It's on me,
Yeah.
Honey, you can call collect. Honey, just call, will you, please? You can call collect. You don't have to, you won't be charged anything. Just call us collect. We miss you. We do. Really.
I had all the calls from jail were always collect when I was locked up. And so depending on where, and they were different depending on where you were calling from. There was, if I called the next county over, it was like $25 a call. But if I called from out of the state of Kentucky, it was like $3 a call. There were some ways you could get it to where it was like 20 cents a minute. It just depended on who you were calling, but they were, it was, for me to call home was $33 every call. Yeah, that sucked. But,
you know what's really cool about your show, Joe?
What?
Your show is I can spack one up here.
Yeah, no.
I can rip one right here. Sure.
I've got 2 or 3 vapes here and a pack of cigarettes.
I want to tell you what the other thing that's really cool about this show is you can talk at Kentucky and I can talk some Maine.
Yeah. I have no choice but talk like I'm from Kentucky, though. When I try to talk in an accent other than Kentucky, it just sounds like a Kentucky accent in that tone or timbre, I guess. I don't know. It just sounds like it's still, because vowels are my problem. All the vowels get drawn out real far, so my eyes are
Vowels. Vowels.
Vowels.
You say vowels, not vowels.
There's somebody that gets on me every time I say theater.
Now, never mind. I won't go there.
The
Say towels. Towels.
cows,
Towels.
cows.
Vowels. Yeah. Okay. That's where we're going. You knew it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is a
they're,
really shitty show, Joe.
It's okay. Those are the ones that do well.
You're never gonna. This thing's never gonna be monetized. This thing's up.
If I come on here with my shit
It's-
all collected and ready to go, and let's say I come on and talk about evolution, okay, and do it
Sure.
perfectly without messing up at all. Do it great.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to watch that. They've seen somebody else do it 10 times better over and over. So
Does it?
so
If you
this
have
is-
dramatic music in the background, does that
I
help?
could, yeah, that would be better, wouldn't it? That's Jess redid the trailer, the intro trailer to my channel, and now
Yeah,
it's
it's
got
cool.
this dramatic music playing. And I'm like, yeah, it makes it
Yeah.
feel more dramatic than it was, but just leave it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I can. Let's see.
Yeah, you get
With a minute 30 to go, and now they hold a favored position.
We don't want to watch the 1990 the final races, the start of the final race of the 1992 America's Cup.
Yeah.
That's my countdown.
The I don't know. I have fun with the here's the thing. If I come in like real prepared for a show, like if I'm going to talk about something, like if I have questions, if I have an expert on or somebody that's going to talk about something specific, then I kind of like have some questions in mind or whatever. But other than that, like usually 10 more minutes before it's time to start, I'm like, okay, what am I going to talk about today? And, you know, go with it that way, because whenever I organize things and set it up, it's very obvious that that's what I've done. That's why my response videos suck so bad, is because you can tell that, like, you can tell that I've already thought about this, and it just doesn't come off as me, the me that people are used to talking to and experiencing from the live streams.
Sure.
So, you know, back before I started doing live streams, the same type of video, you know, got thousands of views, but it's different now because I do this, and the people that watch are used to me doing this. And when I watch it, I can't stand to watch my own stuff. I can't stand it. I hate it. Which, you know, I've of my live streams, I've never watched one of my live streams.
I don't know too many people that like the sound of their own voice.
Yeah, and mine's really
being
bad.
played back, because it just doesn't, you know, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like me. It's, yeah, because you're all going
It's like an
through your
uncanny
bones.
valley thing. Your own voice, like, while you can recognize it, doesn't sound like your own voice. It sounds fake or something.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe not. That might be crazy talk.
It just it doesn't sound the same, because you're not hearing what you hear when you speak. It's all of the resonance in your head, right? You know, you hear your rattling skull bones going off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why anyone would watch any of this, but I'm glad they do.
I am too. I think I watch it. You know,
Yeah,
call me
I
crazy.
know.
I watch it. I won't watch
It's,
this because I'm on it. You know.
Well, I mean, whenever I stopped, like, well, I don't want to say stopped. Whenever I started live streaming after I reached 500 subs, I started live streaming, and it was different then, because I had been watching atheist content for years, like 7-8 years, but I had never once interacted in the chat with anybody. I just watched and absorbed information and kept going. And then about a month before I started putting content out, I was like, I seen something in the chat one day that just happened to catch my eye, and I was like, wait a minute. And I went in there and answered, and I started talking to people. And then right after I started the channel, Robin caught me in the line chat under the Kentucky Atheist name. And she's like, do you have a channel? Are you from Kentucky? And I was like, yeah. And Robin was the first one to come over, and she joined my Patreon and talked to me and, you know, gave me some tips and people to look at and things like that. Because the way I had done it, I was familiar with the big people in the atheist sector, I guess. I knew Matt Dillahunty and Arn Ra and Gutsick Gibbon and Forrest and all those people on the line. I had seen all that, but I hadn't really talked to. I had seen you before elsewhere, and then whenever I got to talking to people and I started doing, like, my first live stream, Dave from Captive Desk showed up. I had no idea who the hell that was, and I was like, okay. And so it was really cool, because that's when I really started to meet people and talk to people, and it gave me a different view on what I wanted to do and how I wanted to go about doing it. And while I could sit and make videos making fun of televangelists and stupid things and crazy things that some theists say, and just, make videos making fun of that stuff, there was more to do.
I got to make a mad dash because my car windows are open and there's thunder in the background, and that's not going to make me very happy later.
I'll see if I can hold it down here. But oh, by the way, thanks everybody in the chat for coming. I appreciate it. And thanks to those that are over on Steph's channel watching too. Glad everybody's here to watch. We had a decent time tonight talking to a couple people. We'll try and keep this up and going and be able to talk to more people. Hopefully, I'm not so sure about. Steph's going to try and show me how she's got it set up. Hopefully it works on my computer, because that's been part of the problem. But hopefully we can continue doing this. When she comes back, I'm probably going to tell her to go ahead and just kill the phone lines, since there's nobody else calling in, it doesn't look like. And we're an hour and a half in. Go ahead and wrap this thing up. You're kind of a Kentucky boy yourself? Yeah. I've lived here my whole life, pretty much in the same area. Well, definitely in the same area, pretty much in the same county the whole time too. But I've lived in Greenup County, Carter County, Boyd County, Lawrence County, but those are all right beside each other. Now, if you count the jails in Kentucky that I've been to, I've lived in about 10 other counties too. So, but
well,
they like to put you on diesel therapy around here whenever you even if you catch a little misdemeanor charge, they'll put you on a bus and just ship you around to different jails around the state, and they'll get you as far away from home as possible for whenever you're supposed to get released, so that you got to figure out how to get back home, just to be assholes. It's kind of a thing.
Oh, I've lived in
Being from Germany, the
Middlesex County, Massachusetts. I was born in Middlesex County. I was born in Suffolk County, Massachusetts. Grew up in Middlesex County, Massachusetts. Lived in Suffolk County, Massachusetts. Suffolk County is Boston.
Yeah.
Then I've lived in Cumberland County, Maine for 77. You lived here all your life? Not yet.
The average inmate is incarcerated 100 miles from home. It's part of gerrymandering. I wouldn't doubt it. They would purposely, like, they would find particular jails like on the other side of the state. Like I was sent to Hopkins County, which is completely on the other side of the state. And a lot of times, like they would send you when you had like 1 day left or something, they would ship you to another place. And if you were a county inmate or something, you had to find your own way back. They just turned you loose. In fact, the last time I went to jail, I was in what's called the Big Sandy Regional Jail in Paintsville, Kentucky, Johnson County. And they turned me loose, and I just had to take off walking. No phone call, no nothing. Get out. And I walked
Nice.
110 miles
Wow.
to get home. Yeah. Took me all night and all day and part of another day. And yeah, it was bad. My toenails fell off. I couldn't walk for about a week afterwards. So yeah, they, you know, that's that humane treatment they provide. But yeah, don't go to jail, I guess, is the lesson to be learned.
Don't go to jail. Don't go to jail. Probably a bad idea.
What did I do time for? I did time for being a dumb drug addict. I did time mostly for stealing shit and well, I just tell you my charges. I was charged. The first thing that happened was 2 weeks out of high school, I caught a forgery charge for signing a credit card that wasn't mine. I got probation on that, and on the last day of my probation, they convicted me of burglary and third degree, or burglary and theft by unlawful taking felony. And they gave me 2 years. I served 18 months on 2 years. I got out. I went to school. I was okay for about 3 or 4 years. And then once school and everything was over and I had time on my hands, my binge using of drugs turned into daily, hourly using of drugs. And then I've been arrested for shoplifting. I've been arrested for theft. I've been arrested for, I was arrested for assault once, but not ever charged with it. Well, I mean, the cops charged me with it, but they dropped my charges when I went to court because I was just defending myself. But I've been charged with child support. Check this out. So whenever, I've been charged with possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, receiving stolen firearms. Shall I go on? No, I think that's about it, honestly. But so the child support thing, though, let me mention that real quick. Whenever you're convicted of a crime, a state crime or higher, what happens is if you've ever been sentenced or watched anyone sentenced, you'll see the judge and he rattles off some stuff about, I'm declaring you indigent because you're a ward of the state at that point. You have no way to ever make money. So when I got divorced while I was locked up, and because it was free. And so what they did was they started child support against me. And I wrote them letters saying, hey, I'm declared indigent by the state. I don't owe you any child support. I'm legally indigent. They still held that against me, of course. And when I got out of jail, they then charged me with flagrant non-support and arrested me and threatened to violate my probation from where I'd been in jail and hit me with another PFO. So they offered me 25 years for child support. They were trying to go ahead and do me in, I guess. And in fact, they offered me that when I went to arraignment in circuit court. We didn't even do arraignment. They arraigned me and said, I'll offer you 15 years today plus the 10 years that's over your head. And credit card fraud, I got that one too. So they were going to give me a life sentence over child support. And in Kentucky, you don't serve quite all of your time. You serve like 6 months on a year, pretty much. Some places call it 2 for 1 or whatever. That's not exactly how Kentucky does it, but what happens is that so you serve about 55, 60% of your time. Unless it's a violent crime, then you serve 85% of your time. Well, whenever they charge you with PFOs, especially what's called a PFO1, persistent felony offender in the first degree, they give you 10 years flat, which means 10 calendar years. No 85%, no 50%, and you have to serve that before you even start on your way to making parole on your charges. So that sentence was gonna, I mean, it was literally a life sentence. It would have been the end. I'm pretty sure. But before that had happened, I got clean about going on 10 years. I got clean about 9 years ago. And that changed everything. Of course, there was no longer the looking over my shoulder and having to do things just to survive day to day and find my dope and hustle all the time and all the shit that went into all that left. And it's
Glad you made it, man.
Yeah.
Get through.
Yeah. The one thing though is I would go to groups though, and they would sit and talk about, because I went through the Suboxone program, medicated assisted treatment, and I would go to groups and they would sit and talk about how you can shut down the line, Steph, if you want.
Okay.
I would go to group and people would get up and talk about how, oh, I quit and my life is so much better, and you just get better and life's great and you're gonna love it and all this stuff. And that's not my experience. When I quit doing drugs, my life sucked. All my friends were gone. All my money was gone. My ability to hustle anything was gone. Like it was awful. I was in the deepest hole I could have dug myself with no support system because my family hated me. My friends hated me. I had burnt every bridge that I ever had. And so, you know, here we are years later and I'm still climbing out of that hole. I'm still haven't, I can almost see light though. So,
right. Well, that's good.
Yeah. But I do have to say though, the people that said life is better, it's better in a different way. I mean, I enjoyed my life doing those things because it was fun and stuff like that. Do you need me?
No.
Okay. I enjoyed my life doing those things because it was fun and stuff, but it sucked really. I mean, waking up every day and trying to figure out how you're going to make it through that day and hope you don't go to jail doing it, you know, was awful. And being sick all the time and just it was hell, you know, figuratively. And but you know, it gets better anyway. I mean, things are I definitely don't have the same concerns I had then, and the concerns I have now ain't shit compared to those, you know. Like you know, I can deal with most things pretty well now. It's the hardest thing though has to be when you take drugs so that you don't have to deal with life and all the things that go with life, and you're suppressing all your emotions and feelings and things by doing that. I mean, you may not know it at the time, but you are. And when you quit doing drugs, I mean, not only do you get your life back and all that, but all those things come back too. And it's not the, I suggest getting a counselor, and even if you're on drugs and have no desire to quit, get a counselor and talk to them. I mean, counseling's great. We put an
therapy is a very, very valuable thing.
Yeah. I still talk to one. I still, well, it usually ends up, I counsel my counselor at this point, but they asked me to come in because the funny thing is what the hell? Fly just kamikazed me. The funny thing is that most of the people that work at these clinics and stuff, even counselors and stuff, they have no idea. They've never been addicted to drugs. They've never, you know, been, you know, ready to kill another individual just to get a fix. Some of them have, not all, but you know, most of them, I would say a good 85% of them have no fucking clue. And the people that own the clinics and stuff, they especially, none of them ever know. They've never, or they're on drugs. But it's hard to explain to somebody something and them say, well, just don't do that, you know? And it's, if I could do that, we wouldn't fucking be here now, would we? But, you know, like whenever I had heart surgery, I was still on Suboxone, and I went into heart surgery, and I told him, I was like, don't you want to, like, when I got put in the hospital, I said, don't you want to like take me off my Suboxone if I'm having heart surgery? That way, you know, I'm not in an incredible amount of pain and stuff afterwards, or you know. And they were like, oh, no, you'll be fine. Well, we've got stuff to take care of that. And I thought, oh, okay, well, they understand how Suboxone works and bonding rates and all that, and they'll do the right thing. And I came out of surgery. I was in CAICU. And one of the first things they said to me once I had my bearings back and didn't have a ventilator down my throat, they said, we cut your Suboxone dose in half, and we'll give you morphine for pain. And I was like, that's not going to work. Like,
that's a bad idea.
yeah, that's not going to be good. And they were like, oh no, we'll give you a dose of morphine. And I was like, are you going to give me like 2 doses of morphine? And I was like, because it's not going to do anything.
That's like, a little tickle.
Yeah. And I was like, I said, that's, do you not know how Suboxone works? And they were like, oh yeah, we understand completely. And we had to cut your, you know, cause you're in CAICU. So we cut your Suboxone dose for health reasons and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so you think after having an artificial valve put in my heart, you think the best bet is to then put me in withdrawals also? Like that's the plan. And, after that I was kind of like, I think maybe I need to probably get off the Suboxone and stuff, because I don't want to deal with that again. And so I took Tylenol for an open heart surgery. That was my medicine. Quite the ordeal.
Yeah, I would think so.
Maybe not tonight, Let's Farm, but I'm interested in hearing that. You tell me yours, and I'll tell you one of mine. I've got multiple overdose stories. But they're, you know, one thing, I've had a few, like, I bring this stuff up or whatever, and I've had a few streams where I went in depth about talking about this stuff and everything. But just to be clear, like when I joke around about this stuff, I'm not trying to romanticize using drugs. It's not something you want to do. And, you know, if you're using drugs out there, that's your choice. That's your thing, you know. You think you got it under control and you know what you're doing and all that, but you don't. And you'll find out eventually. I mean, one way or another. If it was as easy as telling people that do drugs to not do drugs, there wouldn't be drug addicts, right? But I try to help people get into, I work with a few different online groups that I'm not going to give any names of, but through Facebook groups and stuff that help people get into detoxes and recovery places and things like that, whatever they need. And I was a big part of the setting up the, well, kind of even anyway, helping set up the March Against Heroin thing that took place here and all that stuff. It was a big deal. But I try to help other people now. And, you know, one of the things is like when I was on drugs, and I don't think I have the pictures in here anymore, but I was like 180 pounds. I'm like 300 pounds now, which sucks. But still, I'll take a Taco Bell taco over some smack any day. But enough of that. All right. So I mean,
well, I'm glad you're helping other folks. That's good.
Yeah. Well, me and Laura both, we try to Laura's my girlfriend. We try to, we both were on drugs and went through recovery together and stayed together afterwards, which most drug addicts don't do. And because the person that you were with on drugs isn't necessarily the same person you were with, you're with when they're off of drugs. You know, it's
Sure.
it's a very different thing. And but we managed to stay together and stuff, and had kids afterwards and all that. And but the so we both do different things and talk to people and talk to families. And a lot of families have this in their head that they can like just call someone up and say, oh, you help people do this? Well, my son's on drugs and he needs to get off of them. And I'm like, well, does your son want to get off drugs? No. Well, then he's not going to. Like you should know this by now.
That's the
the
thing.
I vape and mainline coffee. I smoke weed, but I didn't for years. It wasn't until after I had heart surgery that I started smoking weed again. But it's a different thing to me now. Like, well, weed was never the problem anyway. Smoking weed was never the issue. It was the multiple grams of heroin that I was putting in my veins every day. The heroin. And
my brother was a psychiatric social worker for many years. He was employed by the Washingtonian Hospital in Boston, and it was a methadone maintenance program that they ran, and a treatment facility to it's just like get off in it, and he told me once that his patients would tell him that it's the most spectacular feeling ever.
Yeah, it's better than most orgasms. But it's.
But it's like I no thanks. I smoked opium once.
Yeah,
Never been fond of needles. Opium was rather nice, and it's different if you're undergoing surgery and you're sedated. That's a completely different deal, because it's like you're sitting there in agony. You're like, hey, wait a minute. On a scale of 1 to 10, where's your pain?
Well,
9.5.
So like methadone, I used to buy methadone off of people that went to the clinic, and like in order to get high off methadone, I would have to do like 75 milligrams, which means that if I have a 1 cc like insulin syringe, that means that I'm hitting myself 8 times in order to do that, at least. And that was crazy. But with that, you was high for like 2 days. The thing with it is like and that's the problem. That's the thing that makes you do it, is because whenever we look at the people that are most affected by addiction and stuff, which now it's spread out and affects wealthy people and stuff a lot more, but still, if you look at like a heat map of it, overlaid with a heat map of where the most impoverished areas are in the country, or where minorities live in the country, you're going to find that those are the places where all the drugs are too. And people who have shitty lives, if my electric bill's $300 and I've got $100 to my name, what's the fucking point of putting that on the electric bill? I might as well go get high and forget about it. Like it inspires poor coping skills. Like and then you
that's
get
a good way of putting
you
it.
cope with everything. And I was never somebody that was much into drinking. Like I drink a little bit here and there. Like I still drink a beer or two or some wine or something here and there. Still don't really care for drinking. Drinking's not a problem for me. But like the thing that really blew my mind, because it was years of being clean before I realized that I was done with it. Yeah, for real. I mean, like it was like 3 years in before I was like, before I woke up and said, I know I'm not going to do that anymore. And multiple relapses in there too. But whenever I finally figured that out, I had a motorcycle wreck, and I broke a few ribs, and I got 6 screws in my wrist, and had road rash on 50% of my body, and I mean, tore me up pretty good. And so when I went to the hospital, they did my surgery and stuff, and they put me on IR5s, which is instant release 5 milligrams of oxycodone. Well, because of being a drug addict, I know you can take them bitches and put them in a needle, you know, like I know how to do that. And I remember waking up and being in pain and looking at those and thinking they're not working. I know how to make them work, right? You know, like, and I got up immediately and went and flushed them down the toilet and was like, fuck this shit. Like, and so that's been one of the things, like that was because they always talked about triggers and stuff, and I never knew what one was. Like I was like, I don't experience that. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't get that. There's nothing that makes me do it. Like I do it because I want to. Then it was at that moment that I was like, okay, I'm not able to have these here. I know that I'm not able to control myself right now. And so I went and dumped them down the toilet, and I haven't taken anything that's not prescribed to me since, which can also still be a problem. But you know, but anyway, that's the story of all that. Sorry, it ended up going down that whole rabbit hole of things. That's
well, there you go.
Not everybody.
Never know where these streams are going to lead. You know, we got a little bit of the how do you know there's no God? It's like, well, I don't know. There's no. For me, I don't know. There's no God. I don't see any reason that there should be God, and it seems to me that it's more likely that God emerges from human consciousness. Gods emerge from human consciousness. That they're a function of our biology and of the way we take in knowledge and of the way we perceive things. I think that we are born with imagination, or at least the capacity for imagination. We look at wondrous things, become entranced by them. I mean, look at the ocean. It's like, holy shit, that's pretty inspirational. And we make up stories about them. And some of the stories include supernatural beings that are, you know, one of those boats out there is a boat called Boreas, which is, of course, God Wind. And we just make up names, we make up characters. We just like, oh yeah, well, we've got we call them different things, and some people turn it into a racket and think that's where it really comes from, you know.
Yeah,
like, well,
really true. If nobody was making money off religion, you wouldn't hardly hear anything about it.
It wouldn't be that big of a deal, I don't think, really.
No.
You know, if Joel Osteen Osteen, I forget what his name.
Yeah.
But if he didn't have need of something to stuff behind his toilet, you know.
Yeah. Joel Osteen is.
Joel Osteen.
He's one of those that, because remember, I used to do all this stuff about televangelists and stuff, and he's not all on the prosperity gospel, at least not the same way that like Kenneth Copeland and that bunch does it. Like, he's
Right. I need a third airplane. This
Yeah.
guy told me I needed a third airplane.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
for you.
And so he's hard to pin down sometimes on some of the things he does, unless you what it is. So like Kenneth Copeland, you can take a couple sentences of what he says, and most people understand that that's horse shit and it's bad. Like when he's on stage talking about I'm gonna blow COVID away, you know, most people know he's full of shit at that point, right? But
Most.
Joel Osteen has a different way of doing things, and it takes listening to quite a bit of his nonsense to pick out the little pieces of why he said this, he was leading to this, and it's not as black and white with Joel Osteen. And I have to say, he's a sneaky little shit. And once you dig around on him a little bit, but it's not something you can like, because I tried to make a video about the guy, and I was like, man, people are going to have to sit through listening to 5 minutes of his shit to understand what I'm talking about, and if they miss one line of it, they're not going to get it. And
Oh yeah.
because he builds it off of each little thing, and he never comes out and says the stuff that like they say about like, oh, give me all your money, you know, like he doesn't do it that way. He doesn't do the whole plant your seed shit usually. Now he has, but that's not really his thing. And so I hate that bastard. I dislike him more than a lot of them, because what he does is worse. He won't even be honest about the shit he believes. He's well, I would say Kenneth Copeland isn't honest either, but the whole like line about the church being flooded so they didn't have to have, you know, people stay there and stuff, like it just he's a shitty person. And
He's a prick.
yeah. And that's harder to show though than somebody just saying crazy shit, you know, like the Kenneth Hagins and the Bob Tiltons and the Jimmy Swaggarts and all those guys. It's easy to go and, you know, pull a couple lines of listen to this crazy thing this fucker said. Yeah. You know, the guy that tells you that Smurfs are satanic and and Harry Potter is evil. like that kind of stuff, you can show it in a couple of lines and say this is crazy talk.
It isn't Harry Potter that's evil. It's Joanne Rowling. It's
yeah, no doubt. That's for sure. I seen a post the other day from her. It was awful. I was like, gosh.
Well, you know, over on the transpositions last Thursday, Carly Webb. Carly is a 15-year veteran of ESPN as a producer. Or now works for Outsports. She's a reporter for Outsports, and she plays football. She's pretty good. We were covering the Olympics story, which was not the Transpositions podcast. If I may brag a little bit or shill a little bit, as it were, we do a broadcast Transpositions Weekly every Thursday, or let's say Friday 0 Zulu, which is Thursday 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And we cover stories that have been in the news about trans people, et cetera, and so forth. Sometimes good news, sometimes bad news, sometimes middle news, sometimes just crazy stuff. But the big story last week that had just broken was the uproar in Paris over these two women, and they are cisgender women. They were, you know, born, raised, birth certificate, passport. Sorry, my camera keeps going fuzzy on me. Birth certificate, passport, cis women. An Algerian woman and a Taiwanese woman. That because of the incredibly Russian mafia connected World Federation that controlled boxing up until 2019, when all the financial hanky-panky was going along, and it's literally controlled by the Russian mafia. In 2023, at the I believe it was the World Championships in India, these two women were booted because they beat undefeated Russian women. And the excuse was they don't meet the eligibility criteria. They never released the test. They never explained what the eligibility criteria were in the first place. And if you were to go and look first go and look for the rules of boxing under the IBA, International Boxing Association, you won't find them very easily. And I went down this rabbit hole trying to figure out, because I'm a sailor. I know how to look up the racing rules of sailing. It's published by World Sailing, and as adopted by my MNA, my Member National Authority, U.S. Sailing, I know how to find eligibility criteria, this, that, and the other thing. I went through everything that the IBA had on their website, and it took me an hour and 15 minutes anyway to find competition rules for athletes, because they buried it. And then it's like, all right, here they are. And you get down to gender eligibility, and he says, men will only fight men, women will only fight women. But it doesn't say in that section what that means. Because it's meant an awful lot of different things over the years. They stopped karyotype testing for the Sydney Olympics in 2000. I think 2000. And the reason they stopped karyotype testing was because it was picking up. It's an incredibly difficult. It's not the simplest test to perform, and was picking up false positives and false negatives. It's just unreliable. You can't really do it. So they stopped doing it, and they went to a standard of how much testosterone do you have in your bloodstream, basically. And that's fluctuated over the years. But anyway, so you read through and just like, well, this isn't here. But in the line, it says, as defined in definitions. So you go to definitions, so Matt Walsh wants to know what's a man, what's a woman. All you got to do is find that definitions in the International Boxing Association thing, and you got the and you find out that their qualification is man is XY, woman is XX, and there is no scope for variation. So that leaves out a whole bunch of people. So anyway, we did a really deep dive, Carly and I, about not just that, just ferreting through sporting rules and regulations from the perspective of a professional athlete, myself, and Carly, I don't know as women's football is professional, but it might be. It was. I did check it out. I think it was pretty well done. Piece from an unusual perspective. People are in our side chat going, "Hey, have you read this piece? Have you read that?" No, I've read the rules, and I've actually had to abide by said rules in my sport for 26 years. So I know what I understand what's involved and what the testing is, and I realize it's like Let's Farm is out there saying, a lot of people say this. It's my second least favorite topic to talk about. But first of all, what you saw was not a story about transgender people. What you saw was a story about what happens when you start transvestigating. What happens is you find women. Those two women are women. It's illegal to be trans in Algeria, and it's borderline illegal to be trans in Taiwan. They found women who don't fit a particular thing. It got seized on by people who claim to be feminists, but because these women were outside of the norm of what other people considered to be the feminine, these people were targeted. They also happen to have been disqualified by IBA, but the IBA itself was pulled. Their ticket was pulled by the International Olympic Committee in 2023 because of their corruption, because of the arbitrary nature of the way they were regulating the sport, and that's why they're not in control. That's why they're not at the Paris Olympics.
Yeah,
IBA is not there. So it's interesting the intersection of politics, news coverage, filthy, dirty, rotten Lukoil money from Russia, and people's attitudes towards what is acceptably feminine enough. It was a good story. We had a lot of fun with it. So I hope you'll check it out. And I hope you'll subscribe to the Transpositions. And maybe to my channel too. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Both of those channels.
We're growing. We're up to I think we're up to 305 subs now. We started 4 months ago.
Yeah, no, you guys have been doing good.
We're rocking it.
I like the videos over there. I haven't seen the most recent one because things, but
Thanks.
I caught up on a few of the others though since I started watching it. What the hell just happened?
Yeah, Ember's in the side chat. Bree's in the side chat. I'm here. Carly's doing something. I don't know what she's doing. She's probably having more fun than. Well, they're not having more fun than me. What's wrong here?
Not save.
Taking phone calls.
Taking phone calls. and paying for it.
That was fun.
It was fun.
Actually, I'm not sure I was because I still seem to have the same amount of money in the bank. But
yeah, I seen it went back and was adjusting it afterwards. So it may have charged yours since you have the account, but then since it was my show, went back and fixed it.
I don't know.
I don't know either, because mine isn't at what it said it was at either. It had dropped all the way down to like $14 or something, and then it kicked back to 19, and then it went somewhere else. So I haven't looked back at it again yet. But
well, this is definitely proof of concept. You can do this, Joe.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm happy to hear. Just that we can do it here. So I'll get with you this week, and we'll cool. Get together, and you can show me what to do, and if I have to, I'll give you remote access, and you can just do it on my computer. But we'll figure it out one way or another.
Yeah, I mean it's surprisingly easy once you know how.
Well, see, that's what I kept looking at too. I was like, look, here's the only issue is I have to split these outputs because because I can't have everything going to one audio and then send that through everything
Right.
because it's going to echo like a son of a bitch.
So,
Like,
if you want to put it in the, I always like to sort of abstract it. The idea is to create a separate channel that's the real output, and that's where everything's going to get through, and that's what your StreamYard, that's the consolidated output
right.
of the stuff that's coming from the phone source and the stuff that's coming from the browser you're using.
Yeah. But my mic has to be on a
And-
different one. Right?
Doesn't. No.
Oh, okay. We'll go through it.
Mm.
But I guess with that, let's wrap this one up, and
Sure.
you and I will
Shoot it.
do that later, and we'll be back next week. I'm not sure. I have to look at my email and see if he's agreed yet. But I mean, he said he wanted to come on, but it should be Jay Bundy if he's free to do it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
Back to Bundy. He's in the middle of a great big huge move from Michigan
Yeah, I
to
know.
New Jersey.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I haven't been able to really talk to him too much because of that.
We can go over to Gather and raid his ranch.
Yeah. But all right. So definitely go and check Stephanie, Bree, Ember, and Carly out over on the Transpositions. It's an excellent show. And it's newsworthy stuff. It's really neat, interesting stuff. I like it. I mean, I think it's great. And but I also
Somewhat
like,
unique in the space. Let's put it that way. It's unique in the space.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to,
You're
we're trying
doing
to
something
be,
different.
yeah.
And well, I mean, I may be a little biased since like I don't know Carly, but you, Bree, and Ember, I'm all kind of tight with you guys. So
Get to know Carly.
I
She's
like all of
great.
you. So of course I want to go. I enjoy seeing you all do things, but I've lost it now. But Stephanie's YouTube is StephiCath, StephiCath, right?
Mhm.
Is that right? Yeah.
STEPH.
Yeah.
ATH, yes. That's the one.
Yeah, it's linked in the description, I'm pretty sure, actually. But if it's not, it will be in a minute. I think I'm almost certain it is. But anyway, go check that out and stuff. And thanks everybody that came and watched, and thanks everybody that watched from Stephanie's channel. I really appreciate it, and a big thank you to the people that called in. We had a good time talking to you, and
Yeah,
we
it was
appreciate
great.
your calls. And we're it's sometimes hard to get across to, especially theists, that we're not like looking for a fight. Like, we just want to talk to you about this, and you give us, we're not going to
Yeah, I
put up
just wanna
with
talk.
bullshit and like, laws and stuff. And if you say something that's incorrect, we're going to tell you it's incorrect, but we're not like trying to be mean to people. And I think there's a big misconception there, but whatever. Do what I can. But all right. Well, thanks everybody for coming, and thank you, Stephanie, for coming and helping me out, especially with the whole call-in studio thing, because we wouldn't have had call-ins tonight if Stephanie wasn't here. So have a great one, everybody. I'll see you all sometime this week. Later.